Hello world! Happy New Year for Life Fighters. The truth shall set you free, as the Apex Legends Twitter account has released yet another fantastic audio-visual lore chapter, where Crypto meets up with Wattson, spoilers, to tell her his real name. We expected to follow up on their voice interactions pretty soon, but this was way heavier than anticipated, as this piece is even more particularly character-focused than Revenant and Loba's Reverie encounter, and you can certainly see that senior writer Ashley Reed pulled out all the stops to make this story beat feel so satisfyingly conclusive while still setting us up for the future. Crypto softening against Wattson's recently toughened nature really helps balance their dynamic out while giving both characters a further sense of emotional depth, as opposed to flattening them out, which could happen when you level the playing field in this way. The tension created towards the end of their dialogue as Wattson brought up the Syndicate was a masterful stroke to show how hard it is for us to trust one another and to really put us on edge for Wattson's answer. Saying that Crypto revealing his past wasn't very smart and that Crypto wouldn't do such a thing was actually a really clever way for her to realise that there was a person who trusted her underneath all of his subterfuge, and allowed her to feel comfortable enough to return to making puns with him, with Justine Huxley's incredible shifts in tone really selling those senses of dread, relief and acceptance. Johnny Young's performance then strikes a really interesting contrast, as he's essentially playing two conflicting parts, Crypto and Tae-Joon Park, with Hack even stepping in when the anger of one risks overshadowing the other's nervous attempts at composure. Obviously, Crypto trusting anyone with his name is a huge step for him, especially as Wattson mentions how much her and her family owes the Syndicate. But, given the history of her supposed grandmother, the question of how much the Syndicate actually owes her should arise eventually as well, with Wattson brought to realise the cost her family has truly suffered at their hands, which would then lead to her aiming to avenge her father's death and to tear her family's legacy away from the Syndicate. Because this, again, is not the end of their story. The opportunity to trade information on said legacy would provide a juicy moral dilemma for Wattson if Crypto's true identity was requested in return, and Crypto could eventually find himself more personally moved to join Wattson's crusade against the Syndicate, even once he's reclaimed his old life and cleared his name. And with that in mind, Mila's potential connections to the Syndicate could work to serve or detriment both of these further story avenues depending on her alignment and current goals, with the recent expansion into other characters from Gaia suggesting even further likelihood of her joining into this ongoing narrative. The arrival of Ash should also give us further insight into the death of Dr. Amelie Paquette, and Blisk's involvement with the Syndicate could help expand all of these storylines in various ways. But again, learning these characters' motivations is going to be key in figuring out exactly how. Wattson asking to be inducted into Crypto's circle of friends could also help expand on his links to Loba or Voidwalker Wraith, but those are some way further out storylines to focus on at a further date. These new audio-visual teasers themselves are personally an awesome format to regularly expand on the lore, with the visual novel format I discussed in my Broken Ghost vs First Ship video being augmented into a further experience through the immersive use of voice actors and the varied styles of the independent artists, thanks to the hard work of community manager Alex. This brightly accented piece, brought to us by the talented Shai, rides a striking line between the existing 2D and 3D visual aesthetics of the Apex Legends media, with the previous chapter's more realistic yet dynamic vision designed by the skilled hands of artist Fragment. The inclusion of the community into these concluding chapters really adds to the investment of the pieces as a whole, and obviously allows the writing team a greater scope for more regular and more experimental formats for lore releases, and so personally pays off a great investment for both sides. This is apparently the final comic chapter of Season 7, so we may have some time to mull this all over for now, but hopefully very soon we'll be seeing the arrival of anyone from our best girl Ash to newly thirsted hunk Victor Maldera that can help expand these storylines and more, fleshing out the lives of these characters into fully fledged legends. I really hope you've enjoyed these new lore reveals as much as I have, and I can't wait to see how they expand on these new formats in the future. I expect changes with the MRVN in-game to kickstart something new for several of those involved, Path, Horizon, Ash and Wattson evidently included, never mind Pathfinder's new arena, yet I do wonder if Horizon's old apartment will soon see the arrival of the Malta Gang's spaceship. So, with that wild tangent, that is enough out of me for today. Thank you for staying with me, friends. I hope you enjoyed a slightly shorter video than my analysis of Fight Night, but it's really nice to see these two back together. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support. Take care of yourselves out there, teammates, and may the glorious spark of Bastille shine within you. Bye bye.